It's a picture-perfect day in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania as Bethlehem Steel, for the first time this season, is hosting a game at Goodman Stadium. They welcome in the #1 team in USL Championship, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Josh Appel. And Gary, let's take a look at the playoff standings right now in the Eastern Conference. Tonight we've got the top team in not just the Eastern Conference, but as we said, in all of USL Championship, and Bethlehem Steel, who's clinging to that final playoff spot.
Yeah, for Tampa, absolutely brilliant, but they've struggled the last couple of games, so they want to get back on that winning trail for Bethlehem Steel. They've got a bunch of teams just behind them who want to sort of kick them off that playoff place. So they need those points. They need to catch up with St. Louis and try and get a bit of breathing distance between them and those behind them.
And here's what these two teams have done over the last 5 games. Bethlehem Steel winless in their previous 4 before their win last week, 3-1 in convincing fashion over St. Louis, and of course Tampa Bay 3-1-1 over their last 5. That one loss, their only loss this season.
Yeah, brilliant up until now, but again, Tampa just off the pace with that one loss and the one draw, and it's exactly the opposite for Bethlehem. They've been through a really, really rough patch, but that recent victory, that 3-1 victory over St. Louis, was a massive, massive win for them. You just wonder, have they turned the corner, and are they going to give Tampa Bay Rowdies a really good run for their money tonight?
Well, for Brendan Burke and Bethlehem Steel, he's been dealing with a very young roster this year, and it's a credit to him that they're even in the playoff hunt right now. But as you see, 7 of the 8 defenders tonight available are under 20 years old.
That's brilliant. That in itself is a fantastic achievement for these young players to be competing against players that are sometimes as much as 10, 12, 13 years older than them. Just worked out the average age of the defense playing tonight, 19 years of age. And well done to Bethlehem Steel. That is brilliant in terms of bringing kids through.
And those guys will be going up against the best goalkeeper in USL Championship, John McCarthy, 9 clean sheets this year to lead the league.
That's fantastic in itself. As a goalkeeper, you want clean sheets. He also hasn't conceded too many goals. 8 in 15 games is the best in the league. And he's got a lot of praise, John, and I think he deserves all of it. He's a great shot stopper, but he's a good organizer. And he's been consistent, and that is so important when it comes to goalkeeping. It's
a return trip to Bethlehem for John McCarthy. Can Bethlehem keep the winning ways going, or will Tampa Bay continue their hot streak? Kickoff and lineups coming up next.
And keep watching if you want.
Welcome back to Bethlehem, Goodman Stadium. First time in 2019, Bethlehem playing a home match here. They host the #1 team in the league, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Josh Appel, Gary Bailey with you as the teams make their way onto the pitch. Let's take a look at the starting 11s for both sides. First, Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yeah, 3 changes in the team. They play that normal 3-5-2 style with the wingbacks Najim and Johnson. Jan Ekker's come in there for Poku, who's on the bench. Jordan Doherty for Aduro, who's suspended. And Tejada up front for Brandon Allen, who's also on the bench.
And for Bethlehem Steel FC, again, they're coming off of their first win in quite some time, 3-1 over St. Louis. Here is how they line up for Brendan Burke.
4 changes in this team. Matt Freese in goals there for Carlos. Mark McKenzie comes in defense for Cortez. Cole Turner in for the suspended Farris, who had a red card last time out, and Borgia in for Galina. So 4 changes for Bethlehem, 3 for Tampa.
And we are underway from Goodman Stadium. Tampa Bay in those neon green kits. Bethlehem in the dark, going from right to left. 4-7-4 for Bethlehem Steel FC this year. Just 1 loss in 15 matchups for Tampa Bay. 8-1-6, 30 points on the year. They are 1 point up in the Eastern Conference over New York Red Bulls 2, and 1 point up overall in the USL Championship standings. Phoenix Rising FC also with 29 points.
It's been a fantastic season for Tampa Bay Rowdies. I bet their fans are loving it. And to start this well and get that many points on the board, but a draw and a loss in their last 2 games just has you wondering, have they come out of this great start? Have they lost a bit of momentum, or can they get back on the winning trail here today? Of course, if you're a Tampa fan, that's what you'll be hoping for. For Bethlehem Steel, it's the opposite. Bad run, but a fantastic win against St. Louis last time out. They'll be thinking, hey, maybe we've turned the corner. We're going to start winning from now on.
This is Tejada. His cross deflected, and a corner coming for Tampa Bay. Hey, Bethlehem, you mentioned before that 3-1 win against St. Louis, in the previous 8 matches, they were 0-5-3 after a 3-2-1 start to the year. So they really hit a rough patch in the middle of this first half of the year.
Yeah, they have, but in fairness to them, Bethlehem Steel, they're playing so many youngsters. They're trying to bring players through. It's a massive, massive challenge for their coach, Brendan Burke, and I think we have to cut them a little bit of slack in terms of their age.
There's Malik Johnson to take the corner. Shot on, rises high.
It's a good chance there when that comes out. You just wonder whether can actually try and find the target there from Jordan Doherty. Can he keep it down? Can he make the goalkeeper work? Not easy, I'm not saying it is. Comes out very quickly, but he's got time to settle on it. So, yeah, he would have preferred to have forced the keeper into a save.
Bethlehem, of course, with Ernst Tanner coming in as the new sporting director, changing up the system they run, changing the entire philosophy of the development of this franchise. And they went young this year, very young, as we highlighted in the outset. And this is a team in 2017 and 2018 made the playoffs back-to-back seasons under Brendan Burke.
The ages are amazing. You got Borgelin up front at 17 years of age. And Cole Turner's 17. You got a bunch of 18-year-olds, Harriel and Fontana and Rael and 19. I mean, but there is one exception to that. Everyone seems to be around 18, 19. Zach Zandy's 22. And then James Chambers comes in at 32 years of age. He must feel like their father in that dressing room.
And this is his 100th appearance in a Bethlehem Steel FC uniform. Tampa Bay. Long one to the right side. Malik Johnson taking off his foot momentarily, and a throw in for Tampa Bay. Derek Murad. Diakite. Richards leaves it for Doherty. Now Murad again. That's dangerous there. Steinberger went down. He wanted a call, didn't get it. Early pressure from Tampa Bay. Johnson moves in, slides it across, deflected, bounces around, and then cleared by Bethlehem.
That was a little moment there, wasn't it, when that ball came in from Johnson. Matt Freese just battled to get his hands on that, could just force it away into a danger area. And if they'd have gone to one of those bright luminescent shirts, that would have been the first goal. But there was a penalty appeal here. Let's have a look. Was he pushed and shoved? Well, don't see enough there. But certainly, from Steinberger's point of view, it's worth the call. Is he nudged?
There's a little bit there, but...
Did he lose the ball, though, first? Always think in these situations, without VAR, the referee has to be 100% certain or thereabouts. And if there's any doubt, then the answer's no.
Real. Windy day at Goodman Stadium. Fontana. Back for Chambers. Now Bethlehem Steel FC going backwards.
You mentioned Chambers a few minutes ago, but being the only player over 23 years of age or thereabouts in the outfield, he plays a massive role, because he's there obviously to pass on experience, knowledge, to keep talking to the younger players. His job is to help them become better professionals. And
he's basically another coach on the field.
Yeah, very much so. He is. He's the coach on the field and in the locker room, and in the moments where the young players are not quite sure of the next step to take, he's got to be there to advise them. And that's a fantastic role that he plays. And one day when one of these young players becomes a superstar, I think they'll turn around and thank the likes of James Chambers for his support.
Scored last week against St. Louis in that 3-1 win, which snapped an 8-match, I would say losing streak, but an 8-match streak where they didn't come out on top. 5-3. The big keys for Tampa Bay this season and the success they've had is how good they've been on the road. They are unbeaten on the road this season, 4-0-2, and it's such a stark contrast to the last couple of seasons. They've already equaled their total wins away from home from last year. They went 4-10-3 on the road a season ago, and 4-0-2, as I said, this year. Johnson slides across again, and Freeze able to get a piece of it. That'll be a goal kick. That'll be a corner, excuse me, for Tampa Bay.
They're allowing a lot of attacks down this right-hand side, or Bethlehem Steel's left-hand side, and it's Johnson who's causing so many problems. We've seen him already in that box 3 times, and twice the keepers had to parry, and they've scrambled the ball away. If Bethlehem don't shut him down, they're going to have a tough afternoon.
Not a good strike, and a throw in off after the corner for Bethlehem. That rolls over. Throw in for Tampa Bay.
You mentioned Tampa Bay on the road as well, and in the background there is coach Neil Collins. What a great job he's done, but to have a fantastic road record is even more amazing. So difficult going to different grounds and the away fans and all those stresses and strains, and to be unbeaten shows you what a good team Tampa Bay are and why so many people have been singing their praises this season.
And there's so much depth too on this roster. You have so many veterans that can step in and play at any time, and some unavailable tonight, but you know, guys with USL experience, and one guy goes out, another one steps in, and they don't miss a beat.
Well, you're looking at Poco on the bench and Allen on the bench. Those are really good players you can bring in if you need to. So, yeah, that strength and depth has given Tampa every opportunity to be a super team this season. And it's up to Bethlehem Steel and their wonderful youngsters to try and match that today.
You look at even a guy like Andrew Tenari, he's not even available in this one. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Just underway at Goodman Stadium. First time in 2019, Bethlehem Steel hosting a match in this stadium. Zadi, the leading scorer, flicked it ahead. And it rolls over to Freeze as Tejada applies a little bit of pressure to him. And now, because of that pressure, it's a throw in for Tampa Bay. Ryan, who just returned a couple of matches ago.
It was a little bit of a loose pass there. Not quite sure who that was intended to, but it didn't find anyone. But early on, you've got to say Tampa have come out looking the sharper of the two teams, and that man there with the ball a moment ago, Malik Johnson, has been a major problem for Bethlehem Steel. And to be fair, the visitors could easily have been one up already.
Yeah, that chance from Doherty after the first corner that he sent just a little bit high. Murad sends it ahead for Johnson, who tries to track it down. Headed out by Real, and a throw in for Tampa Bay. Murad. Steinberger flicks it towards goal. Headed out, and another corner for Tampa Bay. And they are just controlling everything in the first 10 minutes.
Yep, down their right-hand side. They're getting a lot of space and time. And another good effort there. Zach Steinberger putting in a very decent ball that Bethlehem Steel do well to get away from danger.
Johnson leaves it. Now gets it back. He's used this move a couple of times, but defended well by Bethlehem Steel. That was Zandy who took it away. Now Johnson gets it back from Zandy. And Bohannon. Doherty, excuse me. Doherty plays it back for Murad. Tejada and Johnson not on the same page there. Steinberger and cleared away. Bethlehem Steel just haven't been able to get anything going in the attacking third so far. Again, only 11 plus minutes in, approaching the completion of the 12th minute.
What's happening? The ball's going up there to Borgelin and any of the strikers, and it's not staying, it's not sticking, it's coming straight back.
Tejada rolled it forward, and he got taken down, and that'll be a foul. Our referee, David Barry.
It's in a dangerous position, just in the corner of that box. From there, especially a right footer can bend it in, cause freezing goals, all sorts of problems. And they'll be busy weighing up, Tampa Bay, how they're going to do this. Was Steinberger going to be the one to take it? And he is sort of lining up as a right footer. Or do you put it in the box here? You've got enough big players, enough big central defenders coming up who can get in the end of a good cross and get a header in. So what's he going to do?
We'll find out. Steinberger sends it into the box. Tejada deposits it in the back of the net. And Tampa Bay, the first road goal, 1-0 early on.
Some poor defending there by Bethlehem Steel. Got to be honest about it. That ball just allowed to get into the box. Gets to Tejada. He goes, whoa, thank you. I'll just bring that under control and stick it in the back of the net. Decent ball in. It's into the mixer from Steinberger, but surely there's a black shirt. Got to deal with it. 1, 2, 3 shirts there, all having a crack at it. James Chamber, the last of the three. They all miss it. Comes to Tejada. He's quick, he's sharp, he controls it, and sticks it in the back of the net, and they're one up.
You know, you look at Tejada, that's his 5th of the year, and he probably won't have many easier than that one. In the 13th minute, the #1 team in the league jumps out in front on the road.
I've got to say, it's been deserved. They certainly have attacked. They've created problems. They've put the ball into danger areas. But at the same time, there's no way Bethlehem Steel are going to be happy with that level of defending at the back. And they have leaked a lot of goals this season. That's been one of their major issues, Bethlehem Steel. They've got the second worst defense behind Hartford. Well, now they actually have level worst. They both got 32 goals conceded. So it's in that area that they really have to improve.
And Again, we talk about the youth on this Bethlehem Steel roster.
But if you think back to the match against Nashville, the 4-1 loss, Bethlehem Steel, 2 of those goals came from corners. So as young players, they need to learn very quickly to deal with balls from out wide.
Tampa Bay is coming off that 1-1 draw against Charleston. Look to have another clean sheet and another win. But a tying goal in the 88th minute by Svanteson. Got a point for Charleston. And left Tampa Bay a little bit disappointed. Tejada again. Tejada slides it through.
They're just coming out of defense here. We'll try and hold on to the ball here. Well, they've won a free kick. When that's important, they've got to try and hold this ball up front and try and relieve some of the pressure and turn the pressure back on Tampa Bay, which they haven't been able to do so far. Kita getting a bit of a lecture from the ref. Let's have a look. Well, I think whenever you go through the back of a player, the referee's always going to have a little quiet word with you and give you a warning.
There you see James Chambers playing in his 100th match today with Bethlehem, the captain of this young team. McKenzie didn't get rid of it and turns it over. Guinzotti over to Tejada, the goal scorer. Murad.
It's a good recycling of the ball by Tampa Bay from out wide on the left. They come to the right, they go back to the left. They're stretching the Bethlehem defense. They're moving the defenders around, looking for gaps, and that's very good control of the ball by the visitors.
That's a good word, Gary. Control. Done that and then some for the first 17 minutes of this match. I'm trying to get it going on the counter. A little bit off target there.
I don't think John McCarthy's had anything to do as yet.
Not yet.
He's looking for his 10th clean sheet. If things keep going like this, he's got every chance.
With some speed, here's Guinzotti. The cross. Chambers corrals it, plays it back. McKenzie. Dangerous here for Turner. McKenzie gets it back. Ofemu blocked that shot by Ekra, and it rolls harmlessly into the arms of Matt Freeze.
There's a high pressure here from Tampa Bay. Have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those luminescent jerseys, making it so difficult for Bethlehem to play out from the back, and they're taking risks. I know it's a young defense, but it's almost as if Tampa Bay is saying, we know you're young, we know you're likely to take a chance you shouldn't, and we're just ready to pounce. Look at the shirts, closing them down, waiting for somebody to slip up so they can win possession of the ball.
It's suffocating. And again, this Tampa Bay team has only conceded 8 goals in league play this season. Wow. 8.
That is brilliant. I mean, it doesn't matter which club you are at any league. If you can, it's nearly 1 every second game. And, that's why they're top of the league. They're defensively very strong. They can score goals. That's a great combination.
Hard to lose games when you're not conceding anything.
Exactly. Which is a good lesson for Bethlehem Steel. Now, the worst in terms of goals conceded in the USL. You're gonna, you might score a few, but you're going to lose the majority of games if you're conceding a boatload.
These two teams have scored the same amount of goals this year, 22 apiece. Well, now 23 for Tampa Bay.
There you go. Although we haven't seen much from Bethlehem yet up front.
And something developing there. We'll have a throw in. Rayan tried to slip it through and turns it over. Murad. Johnson on the run. Johnson with some speed. Pulls up. Working against McKenzie, and McKenzie with a nice job, but it does result in a corner. Another one in the first 20 minutes.
Johnson's got some pace, isn't he? Every time he gets the ball, he causes problems down that right-hand side. And Tejada was, I would say, was free in the middle, but an early ball put into space. Tejada could have been on the end of it. He's no slouch himself when it comes to speed.
Johnson, just 21 years old himself, a native of Toronto. First season in a Rowdies uniform. Spent the last 4 seasons with Toronto FC 2. Here's his cross. Headed on and then cleared by Fontana, excuse me. I made him a character from Anchorman for a second. Richards. Tejada took, I believe that was Harriel down. Now Chambers wanted to get it going.
Tejada, by the way, that's his 5th goal this season. In 16, this is his 16th match. A really sharp player, 22 years of age, a Panamanian.
Played at Eckerd College in St. Pete. And really earned his spot on this team and has taken advantage of every opportunity.
He has. Certainly when you're scoring goals like that, you're always going to catch the manager's eye, because that's the hardest thing to do in football, is the scoring of goals. And he certainly, with his 5th goal, has put his hand up for selection.
Freeze. Dangerous there, but he was calm and cool and able to thwart any threat. Real. Called up by the United States U20 men's national team for the U20 World Cup in Poland. But he's back with Bethlehem. Fontana. Real just trying to find something to do with it. McKenzie. Ofemu. 22nd minute, 1-0 Tampa Bay on the goal by Juan Tejada in the 13th minute, his 5th of the season.
Just trying to create something, aren't they, Bethlehem Steel? They're just trying to probe and giving away the ball. You know who they are missing a lot is Ferris. In his last match, he was unbelievable, the young Cameroonian. So quick up front for 18 years of age. And a red card that was dubious. We couldn't see on TV whether it was a red card, and the manager himself saying he didn't see anything.
And Brendan Burke wasn't really happy with the explanation, or lack thereof, that he got for why a minute after Ferris scored a goal, he was sent off and unavailable today. And Michi Galina, the 19-year-old from the Democratic Republic of Congo, is also not in the lineup today. So 2 guys up front Bethlehem normally has, both not playing.
Oh, it's an opportunity. When one can't play, then it's an opportunity for somebody else. In this case, Borgelin up front to show what he can do. You can see him sort of running in the middle of the park. He's just putting in yards at the moment. There he is, trying to chase the ball, and hasn't seen much of it.
Now, this contract with Bethlehem Steel was his first professional contract. He signed it back in early April. Nicely done defensively by Ryan. Fans follow the Bethlehem Steel FC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Well worth your $4.99 a month, if I do say so myself. Johnson weaving through. Real took him down.
Such a handful. he's given them a torrid time at left back, Bethlehem Steel. His pace has been a problem, his trickery's been a problem, and look again, there's a little stab there. That's always going to get the referee's attention from Matt Real. Free kick in a dangerous spot now. Hopefully better defending from Bethlehem than the previous free kick.
Tejada scored off a free kick from the other side. Steinberger, the one who took it then, he'll take it again now. Steinberger. And headed away, right back to him. This time with the left foot. And again headed out. Cleared by Bethlehem. Just past the halfway point of this first half. Juan Tejada, his 5th goal of the year in the 13th minute.
Such good interplay from Tampa Bay. One-touch football from one to the other and carving holes in that Bethlehem Steel defense. That's got to be a major concern for Brendan Burke. What does he do to stop this onslaught from Tampa Bay?
Johnson, across, nobody there for Tampa Bay.
Good cross as well. First time ball right in the danger area. I don't think anyone thought he was going to do that or was capable of doing it, but it was a lovely ball in.
Well, Johnson's had a fantastic first 26 minutes of this game. Johnson again. Steinberger trying to leak in behind, but Ofemu doing a nice job on defensively. Turner ahead for Chambers. Does Bethlehem finally have an opportunity working in them? And no, they, at least for the moment, don't. Moran had it taken off his foot, and so a throw-in.
It's almost like they're not sure of what ideas to do, and in the end they just knock it long and hope. And it doesn't come to anything. There's a lack of ideas at the moment for Bethlehem Steel, and given how good they were last time out against St. Louis, and most of that match down to 10 men, by the way, and won 3-1 against a very good St. Louis side, you just wonder why they can't get themselves into a rhythm here.
St. Louis team, by the way, just off of another upset, or cup set, I should say, as Johnson works his way in. Steinberger off his chest, trying to flick it on, got deflected. And when Zadi chases it down, it'll be a corner. St. Louis FC, another cup set in the U.S. Open Cup. Second MLS team they've defeated. They took down late at the death. They took down FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, I did the Chicago game, Chicago Fire. They were brilliant that day, St. Louis, absolutely brilliant. So if Bethlehem Steel can beat them 3-1 with most of the match 10 men, why can they not reproduce some of it here today? Now that's a question.
It's a defensive juggernaut they're going up against too.
Well, maybe it's just Tampa Bay are too good. That's a fair point.
Johnson will take the corner. It's cleared away, but I think that's kind of what we saw in the first goal by Tejada. What Brendan Burke was telling us is that, you know, being this young of a roster, learning a new system before the season starts, still trying to figure out where you're supposed to play and whatnot. You have other guys who are trying to compensate for other guys' mistakes and getting out of position themselves. And I feel like we saw a little bit of that in the first goal.
Yeah, but there were 3 black shirts who didn't deal with the cross before Tejada scored. So at the end of the day, that's basic 101 defending. And as a coach, not much you can do to help players if they can't get rid of a ball like that, as we see a free kick being given.
Might be a yellow, and it is on James Chambers.
It's a frustrating game so far for Chambers and the rest of those players just trying to get into the game here. Let's have a look at it again. As the ball comes loose, he does step into him a little bit. Is it worthy of a yellow? Maybe it's repeated infringement. Either way, he's got to tread carefully from now on, James Chambers. Otherwise, second yellow and he's off. They're all singing, there's only one James Chambers.
I mean, there is only one James Chambers. He's the only player to be signed with the club for all 4 years of its existence. Touched over the bar by Freeze, and that'll be another corner for Tampa Bay.
That's a classic English way of recognizing a player when you say there's only one of whatever the name is. So it's lovely support. Goalkeeper just seen that over comfortably.
Nice job there by Harriel. Mckenzie tried to clear, but right to Johnson. Johnson, low shot. And Freeze smartly lets that one just roll under his arm. He gets a goal kick.
It's a good try by Johnson, but his greatest strength for me is his pace. He must run at defenders. That will cause problems. Here's the ball coming in. Gets headed out. I'm thinking, go on, get in that box. You might win a penalty. You might get round the defender. Has a shot instead. But he has, for me, so far, lined up in the man of the match. He's caused so much trouble down that one side there.
Marielle went down. Mckenzie for Ran and couldn't find him, so Tampa Bay starts it back with Steinberger. For Johnson. Morad trying to use the space given to him. Morad didn't get enough on it, and it's clear.
Now you've got centre-backs running into the box doing 1-2, so it's clear that Tampa Bay feel that they're really in control here and they can attack from almost any position. And it's great to have defenders like Morad on the ball right now who feel they can get into the box and try and do something, try something different.
Johnson off of Mckenzie. They want a handball. They won't get it. Johnson takes it away. Johnson. Dangerous once again. Morad heads it back into the area. Ekra, and then clear.
There's a bit of a strange moment there. Fontana trying to dribble out and loses possession in a dangerous area. And once again, Johnson just has to run it unmarked into a box and put a very dangerous ball in. So some poor choices when it comes to the defending by Bethlehem Steel, something that the manager will need to sort out at the interval.
Again going through Johnson. His cross over the head of everybody and over the touchline. Here was the near handball that Tampa Bay wanted.
Firstly, it's outside the box by looks of it, and secondly, he's trying to get his arm out the way. Look, I mean, the point is we don't have VAR, so the referee has to see it and give it, and that's not going to be clear. I think with VAR these days, one can go into a microscopic look at where the hand was, but for intent and purposes here, referees have to be absolutely sure, and that hand was really tucked into the body, so no penalty.
Tejada. Here's Tejada, deflected off the post, and then Gonzatti right there on the doorstep to clean it up, and a 2-0 lead to Tampa Bay Rowdies.
That's a good shot from Tejada, but to be fair to Freeze, he gets a touch on this onto the post, and then it's a simple enough touch in there for Gonzatti. Have a look at it again. There he's taking all the praise for the tap in. He was the right place at the right time. Lovely little turn there from Steinberger. Gets laid off. Now look at Tejada. Keeper gets a great touch. Brilliant, brilliant touch. But Gonzatti starts it, follows it up, and he's there to pick up the loose pieces. And that's what you get for shots on target and following in on the goalkeeper.
Gonzatti, his team leading 8th of the year. And And a 2-0 advantage for Tampa Bay in this first half. A goal in the 13th and in the 34th minute for Tampa Bay.
And for Tejada, 1 assist, if you can give him the assist there, because it certainly was a great shot and forced a very good save from Freeze. And the earlier goal, so he'll be happy with his contribution so far.
Well, we said earlier that Tejada's 5th goal in the first of this match would probably be one of the easiest he scores this year. But if you look at the one by Gonzalez just now, that was, I mean.
But you have to be in the right place to finish it off. And in fairness to Gonzalez, he plays the ball in there to Tejada. He then runs, assuming that Tejada might have a shot, and he's in the perfect spot to pick up the loose ball.
Again, Bethlehem Steel FC hasn't sniffed an opportunity offensively. And now maybe something brewing. Turner for Chambers. Zandy. Not on the same page.
Frustrating up front, and yes, they are missing a few crucial players, including Ferris, who was fantastic last time up. But you would think the other players are able to contribute something. And John McCarthy must be wondering what he's doing out there. You just catch a tan there, relax, talk to the crowd, because I don't think he's had one save to make.
0 shots on target to 5 for Tampa Bay. Day like today, you're able to hear the communication between both sides. Pretty loud and clear. That was offside by a lot.
Yeah, it was. There was a little delay for a moment.
It's like, why haven't we done anything? We haven't heard any whistles yet.
But it's a story now with the assistant refs. They're told not to put their flags up immediately, just to see what pans out. And that's also one of the changes that VAR has brought in. So again, it hasn't been great service for Borgelin up front. And what he has received is kind of very, very difficult to hold on to it and bring the others into play.
Turner. Real. Collision there, they play on, and now the foul. Doherty got tangled out with Borgelin. Tune in to ESPN News on June 26th for Wednesday night soccer and the newest rivalry in USL. The battle for the Lone Star State and Copa Tejas continues as El Paso Locomotive takes on San Antonio FC in the Alamo City. Catch all the action on June 26th on ESPN News. '38th minute. Goals by Tejada, his 5th of the year in the 13th minute. And by Gonzalez, his 8th in the 34th minute. Both easy, right on the doorstep.
Yeah, 2 goals, but a whole bunch of opportunities as well, mostly coming from Johnson, who's, as he gets up off the floor has been so speedy, so quick, and thumped a whole bunch of balls into the box. We'll see him when he gets the ball here. He's got this ability to just accelerate over a couple of yards and draws the foul. And it really has been a totally dominant Tampa Bay Rowdies performance so far. But Bethlehem Steel will believe that at home they can still get back in this match. 1 goal changes everything for Bethlehem Steel.
Steinberger. Flicked on. Hands on heads for Tampa Bay. They thought they were very close to a 3rd goal, and they were.
Tejada once again, he smells out opportunities, and he saw this one, the header coming in from the free kick, ball in. The header gets won a little bit too easily, and he tries to get his chest to it. It's a little bit too low for his head. Can't quite get enough chest contact, and the ball goes wide. Once again, we're seeing that the away side is dominating every facet of play so far. And the big question for me is, what can Brendan Burke do, if anything, to turn this game around?
Tampa Bay unbeaten on the road this year, 4-0-2. After a 3-game win streak, they've lost and drawn in their previous 2 matches, but they've been in control this entire half, dominating possession, dominating just about every facet. They have a 2-0 advantage on the road. Real goes down, that's a foul.
Maybe this is a chance for Bethlehem Steel to dominate for a few minutes, keep possession of the ball, try and get something into the box. Oh well, or maybe not.
Doherty. Speed racer somewhere over here. Tampa Bay utilizing their speed for much of this first half. Well, the sound like that doesn't come with it. What kind of car do you think that was?
Or bike?
That too. McKenzie works it free for Chambers. Bethlehem on the move. Fontana. That was through Rayon, and a throw in for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, frustrating again, and whilst Bethlehem can play nice ball out from the back and into midfield, where it gets to the critical part, that final third, breaching the Tampa Bay defense, they've had no quality balls, no idea, nothing wide. They haven't beaten any of their men one-on-one. Just haven't been able to produce anything of an attacking notion there, and I'm sure Neil Collins is very happy with that from a Tampa Bay point of view. They've defended really well, but for Bethlehem Steel, they've got to figure out a way to put this Tampa Bay defense under some pressure.
What can they do, everything you've seen in this first half, what can they do to get something going, anything going?
It's a good question. I don't know what they've got on the bench in terms of capability, but from this team that's out there at the moment, they've just got to keep ball up. When they get ball in attack, they keep giving the ball away like they've just done now, and they're constantly having to defend.
Tejada towards the middle, lets it go, and it's high.
Tejada a little bit frustrated with himself. He didn't make the goalkeeper work. I think that's one of those general rules you ask of strikers. You know, whatever you do, you might not score, but at least force the keeper to have to make some sort of save, because keepers make mistakes and balls can go through hands. But when it goes over the crossbar like that, keeper has to do nothing. There's no way you're going to score if you don't hit the target. That's obvious. So that's what you ask for in strikers. Hit the target.
Tejada. Ekra tries to keep it alive and does. Jan Ekra for Johnson. Across, just out of the reach of Steinberger. He ended up in the back of the net.
But not the ball.
Exactly.
It was a very good cross and a very great effort from Steinberger to get on the end of it. Ball in from, the ball was in from Johnson once again.
Fourth minute. Time winding down in this first half. It's been all Tampa Bay Rowdies, the #1 team in USL. Fontana stops and brings back towards the middle.
So let's watch now and see whether Bethlehem can actually do something with this. They've got possession, they're in the opponent's half. This is where you're looking for a dangerous ball through, or a ball out wide, or a cross or something. In the end, well, at least it was an attempt to get it in there, but it's just too easy for the goalkeeper to scoop it up, and with that you've lost possession.
There's John McCarthy making his return to Bethlehem. 26 matches from 2016 to 2018 as a member of Steel FC. 10 clean sheets in those 26 matches. It's a clean sheet machine.
He's got 10 clean sheets if he keeps one today, doesn't he?
Yes.
He's on 9 at the moment. And Yeah, it's always nice to go back to a team that's let you go and say, hey, you know, maybe you made a bad mistake there. Maybe I'm better than you thought I was. Or we're all human. We all have that ego that wants to make people realize they should have kept us.
Did you ever have a game or a moment like that in your career?
I didn't. I was 10 years with Man United until the day I retired from injury, so I never went anywhere else. But I know plenty of players who do, and they always say, going back to your old club, you really want to show them that you were better than they thought you were.
Tejada battling with Ofemu. And a quick throw in by Naja. One minute of stoppage time in this first half. Goodman Stadium, first game this year in this stadium for Bethlehem Steel. 2-5-3 at home overall this season.
Well, it's been a top-class first half for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Impressed, scored goals, created opportunities, gave nothing away at the back. I don't think the manager, Neil Collins, can actually criticize him at halftime. I'm wondering what he says. Just, hey, lads, give us more of the same. You've been top class. Obviously, in contrast, Bethlehem Steel, they're in a situation where they have done nothing right.
Waiting for the final whistle of this first half, and there it is. After 45 minutes, 2-0 Tampa Bay Rowdies over Bethlehem Steel. An early goal from Juan Tejada, his 5th of the year in the 13th minute. That man right there, the 22-year-old. And the leading scorer, Sebastian Guenzati, scoring his 8th in the 34th minute. As you see the captain walking off for Tampa Bay as the Rowdies head to the locker room. #1 in USL Championship with a 2-0 road lead. Gary, your first half thoughts?
Well, Bethlehem Steel, you've got to do something. You've got to figure it out at halftime here, how you're going to improve. Defending was woeful, nothing in attack. So big changes, either in the way they play or in the personnel.
2-0 at the break. Rowdies on top. More after this. Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Tampa Bay Rowdies a 2-0 lead over Bethlehem Steel FC at the half. Let's take a look at some USL Championship news and notes from around the league. New Mexico United and St. Louis FC, they both advanced to the quarterfinals of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, again defeating MLS opponents. Very impressive from both those two clubs. And how about going back to California? San Diego, group led by Landon Donovan, getting a USL Championship expansion franchise. They'll begin play as early as 2020, and we advertised it earlier. Big matchup on Wednesday Night Soccer, 8:30 Eastern Time on ESPN News, June 26. San Antonio FC faces El Paso Locomotive FC. We talk about the U.S. Open Cup. For more on that, let's take a look at some of those highlights.
The quarterfinals. Back out for Serena. He has a good effort. Oh, that is sensational from Brandon Serena. Back in stride and back and forth with his club after U20 international duty. Ball sent the other way. Santi Moore might be able to get there. Good save off the line. Here's Brader in front. Come on, Brader. New Mexico United are level. Out of absolutely nothing. Moments after the go-ahead goal for FC Dallas. And it's Kevon Brader, who is on a Lamar Hunt US Open Cup tear. Flipped in, back post. Justin Schmidt was there. Now it's Moore on the first time. Still loose in front. Brader still loose. Hamilton, and it's in for New Mexico. Sam Hamilton on the doorstep and puts New Mexico United on the doorstep of a date with the Loons of Minnesota United in the quarterfinals. FC Dallas 1, New Mexico 2.
For FC Cincinnati, it's 1 win in 12 as it's given away here at the back. Decoy to slide in Cicerone. Here's Cicerone peeling it back. Kadeem Dinkers! Didn't get clean purchase on it. Tried to stab at it from 8 yards out. Effort there from official at the ground. And Sanfik tries to head it back towards his goalkeeper Gomez, who bails him out. Eventually does give away Cincinnati. Towards Cicerone, well done to let it run. Cicerone! Not the most convincing save there from Shevasov Teton. As Hilton can now take the corner. Delivery here with pace. Fink! Sam Fink has got it! In front of the St. Louis. That might just be the goal that sends St. Louis FC through to the quarterfinal.
Will try again, and another. Crossing in, it's a goal!
Army will try for goal again and find the back of the net.
The cross keeps the winner! Another brace!
Gallegos cuts it back. Gallegos! How about that finish?
And involve them in the process.
What does it mean to go full Mingo?
Going full Mingo means...
What does it mean to go full Mingo?
You know what's funny is I actually hated that when I first heard it.
We say you never go half Mingo, you always go full Mingo. And that means just whatever the maximum extreme is, you go for it.
You're showing up there, you're passionate, you're wearing your gear, and you're being loud and proud in the brightest, boldest colors possible.
You're willing to be weird, you're willing to be, out there, stand proud.
Means to put all of your energy, your passion, and your love and support into Forward Madison. We're mere caretakers for this team. The team really belongs to Madison and the people of Madison.
I mean, I think everybody, to a certain degree, is interested in what their crest represents of the club they support. But it also means a lot more when the people that are actually like in the stands every week are the ones that actually help make that happen.
The players on the field represent them.
From the get-go with our supporters, you can tell there's going to be a special connection. It motivates me every day to show up to training. It's why I play. And to be able to help foster a sense of community that fans and supporters connect with week in and week out, that's special to me. It's something that I cherish.
We've got a great facility to be proud of. We've got a team to be proud of. What this club is trying to do is offer a real sense of community to people from all different backgrounds, all different jobs, all different ages and everything. It's to each and every demographic as well.
The best thing we did was empower them, deputize them, and not get in their way, just support them.
Welcome back to Lehigh University. Goodman Stadium, 2-0 Tampa Bay Rowdies on top of Bethlehem Steel FC, 2-0 at the break. And we highlighted it at the Open, Gary Bailey. The standings in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. There you see Tampa Bay on top with 30 points, just one loss in 15 games played this year. And there's Bethlehem Steel FC hanging on to that final playoff spot in 10th.
Well, hanging on is the right word. I mean, they've played 3 more games than some of the teams around them, like St. Louis. And if it's a loss today, they might lose that last playoff spot. Look at that goal difference, -9. That's not good enough, and that's more to do with goals conceded. But let's focus on Tampa Bay Rowdies. They've been brilliant, and maybe they're the ones who have made it so difficult for the home side. And here's their upcoming games: away at Ottawa, home at Swope Park, and they're away at St. Louis. They're New York Red Bulls too. That could be a cracking game.
Well, that's the top 2 in the Eastern Conference. We'll see if that's still the case a month from now when they match up in New York on July 26th. And here's what Bethlehem Steel FC has ahead of them. Hartford Athletic, a chance to get back in the win column next week if they don't come back today. That's a road matchup, 2 straight after 2 straight at home. And they face New York Red Bulls 2 on July 10th for a couple of tough road contests at Lou City and at St. Louis to end July.
Looking at the Hartford match, those are 2 teams with the worst defensive records. There should be a few goals in that game.
First half highlights, first half stats coming up next. 2-0 Tampa Bay on top of Bethlehem. A dominant first half for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, a 2-0 lead over Bethlehem Steel FC. Back at Goodman Stadium in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at our first half highlights. Tampa Bay got the scoring going early in the 13th minute off this free kick.
Yeah, poor defending in the box, and Tejada very quick to control the ball and stick it in the back of the net, but got to ask questions of a number of players. Chambers was one I picked out there. There were 3 black shirts there that didn't deal with that. And there's got to be some inquiries there. Mark McKenzie was another one.
That was the 5th of the year for Tejada. And here was the 2nd. Malik Johnson had such a strong first half. Excuse me, this was one that went wide from Johnson. They utilized him a lot down that right wing.
Didn't they just? He caused immense amount of problems and constantly probing and looking for opportunities. And you'll see here that the ball gets played wide to Tejada. And it's a man who plays it wide who's going to follow it up there, Gwenzati, and just tap it in the back of the net. But he started the whole move. And they've got to give Tejada credit for a lovely shot. In fact, talking about starting the move, that came actually from Steinberger just before that, so give him a little bit of credit as well. Keeper gets a good touch. Freeze will be upset because he did so well to save the first one, only to see it get tapped in the back of the net.
So Tejada with a goal, and if you consider that an assist, he's got an assist as well. And you see Tampa Bay just dominating possession, 58-42, although it feels a lot worse. And then you look at the shots. 0 shots in the first half for Bethlehem.
Well, that's one of the worst stats I've ever seen. 0 shots. I get 0 shots on target, but 0 shots at all? No, come on. As a home side, Bethlehem still have to do, and they are better than that, surely. I mean, possession 40, 60 years, yeah, it's one thing, but they're a decent side, Bethlehem still. Some good young players, and they were fantastic against St. Louis. Surely they can't have as bad a second half as they've had first half.
Well, you would hope for their sake, and there's Matt Freeze, who really on the short end of the stick on both goals. Not much he could do on either one of them.
Yep. In fact, the second one, I really feel upset because he made a really good save. Tipped it onto the post.
As a keeper, when the 10 guys in front of you are playing like Bethlehem is today, what's the mindset for the keeper have to be?
You hope that you can just be, you know you're going to be busy. You hope that you can make a lot of good saves, and you know you're going to be center of attention. So for freezing goals, he's thinking, well, okay, if I get lots to do, that's fine. But I hope I get support from those around me, that the shots are from outside the box, not tap-ins from 2 yards. You know, it's one thing being under pressure, but you want your defense to look after you so that you can show your skills. When balls are being scored from 2 yards out, like the first goal by Tejada, because your defense haven't dealt with a cross ball, it gives you absolutely no chance as a keeper.
Early foul on Tampa Bay.
So I'm just wondering now what changes might have taken place in terms of Brendan Burke. I'm not so sure there's going to be anything tactical, but it might be attitude, it might be how quickly they press the ball, it might be something different that he's got his team doing, because generally, you know, if your team's not playing well, you need something psychological to help them, and that means changing something. You know, famously, Sir Alex Ferguson once changed the kits at halftime because they were getting beat in a grey kit, and he put on the blue kit, and they went on.
Is that legal?
Yes, it was, and I'm not sure, he probably had to come up with some excuse like, you know, the players couldn't see the kit properly or whatever. But that he did it, and he said afterwards, I did it purely for psychological reasons. The players needed to believe in something, and the different color shirts made them believe.
Were there any other tactical changes he made, or was it just as simple as the shirt?
Oh, he put it down to the shirt. There probably was a few little tactical switches as well, but
anything that man did worked. So
Alex was supreme motivator.
Gwenzati making a run, and he goes down just outside the 18, but nothing there. He just rolls over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for Matt Freeze. What was it like playing for him?
He's the most amazing manager in every sense. I mean, books have been written, plenty of books have been written about him. He's one of those managers who had that rare combination of being able to be really strict back in the days when you could be, and he could throw teacups at the wall and scream and shout at you, which today wouldn't be seen as acceptable, but it was back then. And yet after
like literally throw a teacup against the wall?
Oh yeah, no, he would take the whole tea set and he'd verbally abuse everyone and then throw it against the wall, and then basically saying, how dare you perform like that wearing the crest of Manchester United. But his passion fed through to the players. And he'd throw food, he'd throw everything at us. It was it was a hell of a dressing room to be in. And yet afterwards he would he'd come and put an arm around you and say, okay, hey, let's just pick it up. How can you improve? I'm here for you. And so he was this caring, kind person who had your interests at heart, but also this aggressive person who hated to play badly. He could accept losing. He could not accept playing badly.
Is there another manager that you see, whether it's in the Premier League or really anywhere, that kind of reminds you of him? Or is he, he's obviously one of a kind, but is there someone that somewhat reminds you of him?
Yeah, I think both Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola are similar in style. You know, football's modernized. You can't go around screaming and ranting and raving the way you could back in the past. Not that Alex did it all the time. He did it only occasionally. But Pep and Jurgen, I think maybe Jurgen will be the closer, because he's such a good motivator, Sir Alex. And I look at Jurgen Klopp and think, wow, does he motivate that Liverpool side? He is absolute genius at getting the best from his players.
Neil Collins has gotten the best of his guys today. They have a 2-0 advantage early in the second half.
You mentioned that he's a young manager, only finished playing recently, had a lot of games under his belt, by the way. It was in 598 competitive games. So if anyone knows about playing a professional football match, Neil Collins does. And he's already started his career off as a manager with some fantastic success. Who knows how high he goes?
What an effort there, by the way.
Everyone's kicking everyone. Just
Richards was on the ground for quite some time, and then Richards gets a yellow.
I'm surprised he's the only one who got a yellow there. They were all kicking each other. But maybe that's what Bethlehem Steel need to do. If you find you're being outplayed a little bit, nothing stops you getting in people's faces and trying to ruffle feathers. And let's have a look at it again. And it was a whole series of moments of stamping there, but it's a foul already being stood on there. Richards had a whole...
Oh, there was a foul there too.
Yeah.
Well, they could have gotten Ryan for a couple.
Well, it shows that both are pushing hard to win this match, and that's the commitment that the fans and the viewers want to see.
They actually gave it to Ben Ofemu from Bethlehem, not Richards. Third time's a charm. It was actually Cole Turner who got the yellow. Eventually we're gonna get it. There you see Cole Turner, just 17 years old. It's a high school kid.
Yep, and that's why you have to give Bethlehem Steel a lot of credit. Yes, we've criticized their performance today.
Ekra is down, holding his left leg. Still on a knee, and now he finally works his way up.
Just to pick up on that point, when you've got this many youngsters, it's extremely difficult. And you basically did the job of bringing them through the system, teaching them, and they have to lose a few games for them to learn. So not easy for Brandon Burke as the manager in this situation.
Najim. Najim again with some space. Gives it back Morad. Now Johnson. Johnson been so creative today, but that gets through everybody.
Johnson's brilliant there. He just went past everybody, gets into the box and slams the ball across. I'm surprised one of these hasn't gone in, because he's put 4 or 5 wonderful balls into the mixer and just hasn't been able to get someone on the end of them. Here we go, a little bit more pressure from Bethlehem Steel. You see the 2 strikers were putting pressure on straight away, but the problem comes at the other end.
Johnson just using the physicality and the speed. Johnson tees it up and he hits the post.
He deserves a goal, to be fair. He's been amazing. The Canadian up and down that right wing, putting crosses in, and that shot hits the post. He's wondering what he has to do here to either get an assist or a goal. Defender slips, so it allows Johnson to get away relatively easily. Cuts inside, hammers it with his left. Freeze literally is frozen to the spot. Just watches it hit the post. Nothing he could have done, the keeper.
Relentless pressure from Tampa Bay. wow.
There's a little kick out there from Borgelin. He's got to be careful. It could have been perceived a number of different ways and looked like he stood on the player as well. So Diakite was on the ground. Diakite's upset. If the assistant linesman says he saw a punch or then he's off. Let's wait and see. Oh, it's just a yellow, is it? Yeah, it's just a yellow. He's lucky to get away with that, the big man up front. Let's have a look at it again. As this happens, he gets hit, and then watch here. There, he just sort of throws or not. No, I think it was after this. There he goes. He just turns and throws a little, well, I'll call it a punch. He threw a little bit of punch to the chest there, but
yeah, I wasn't sure if I saw that correctly or not.
To be fair, again, with VAR, that's a red card. No question, you can't throw any sort of punch, but referee takes a slightly more lenient view, and maybe that's the difference. Bethlehem Steel, they've come out fired up, they've come out pushing and shoving, and maybe not the correct way. Didn't mean pushing and shoving literally, the manager. I'm sure he meant just, you know, get in their faces, but they're fired up.
Shivani Willis, the 21-year-old Jamaican, will sub on. He replaces Cole Turner. Shivani Willis, a guy that this club very excited about, a fantastic two-way player. He's missed the last 2 games with a right ankle sprain. He is back as Borgelin also will come off.
Bear in mind, Borgelin, 17 years of age. So, you know, in fairness to him, a lot's expected. He's getting pushed around and shoved around by much older, bigger players.
Axel Picasso is the one who comes on for Borgelin. Steinberger. Now Najim. Caleb Richards. Goals in the 13th minute and the 34th minute of the first half. Juan Tejada and Sebastian Guenzati, Tampa Bay. Richard steps in front. Now Steinberger. Ahead for Tejada. His low cross. Nicely done by Ufemu. Tejada ends up with it again.
Oh, careful, careful.
Tejada a little bit slow to get up after that from Fontana.
Fontana says he got the ball, but you raise your boot up and come flying in for the tackle. Might just get a lecture. No, he's going to get the yellow card. Says sorry to Tejada. Let's have a look at it again and just see. The moment you raise your boot and come into a tackle, you run the risk of an automatic red card. So let's have a look and see if we can see anything from this. Have a look to your right. Ooh, I don't know. I think it's a red card.
Really?
He's come flying in. He's turned his body. Well, the assistant ref was right there. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he didn't mean to do it, but got to tread very carefully, young man.
Fontana picks up a yellow.
But I think this has been the tactic second half. Bethlehem Steel, they've come out firing.
That'll be a corner. Diakite was there battling with Ufemu.
I think that's been the logic of Brendan Burke. He's fired them up at half-time, so get out there, kick, shove, get in their faces. You're giving up too easily. You need to, you know, be stronger physically and mentally. And he's given it 10 minutes and decided to make a couple of changes as well. See if that can change their luck and get them back into this game.
Johnson and Doherty right there. Johnson to take it. Diakite chasing it down. And he can't.
It's always frustrating to see that a corner being hit over the back. You've got everywhere. You've got a near post, a middle, and a far post. And when you get it before the near post or after the far post. I think it's a wasted opportunity. You've got a huge area to hit in the middle of the goal. Not that it matters that much to Tampa Bay at this stage, but, you know, in future games where you're sitting at 0-0, that decent corner in could make all the difference.
Bethlehem trying to get forward. It's like the second or third time in this game that McCarthy's been able to even handle it. Cross, looking for Zandy, still alive, low shot, rolls right onto McCarthy. I think that'll be the first official shot on goal for Bethlehem Steel FC. James Chambers playing in his 100th match with the shot.
Well, there was some applause from the crowd. I think they appreciated that for once Bethlehem Steel have got forward. They got forward on the left-hand side. They got a cross in. They forced Tampa Bay to defend the cross. And then, yes, the shot wasn't the best from James Chambers, but it was the first shot on target. And even that just can give you a little bit of a lift. You're in the game. Yes, you can get a cross in the box. Yes, you can get a shot on target. Now let's have more.
Tampa Bay's goal in the first half came right around this spot as far as time goes in the 13th minute. A little over 14 minutes into the second half. Bethlehem a little bit more jump in their step these last couple of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Suddenly believing, and that's what the difference. You come out aggressive, you get stuck in, there's a little bit of a fight, you make a couple of changes, you get a decent cross in, and suddenly psychologically there's a lift amongst this team. But if you're Tampa, you want to kill that spirit. So what you want to do is get the third and say, right, that's it. Let's just knock this game off once and for all.
Bethlehem again. Fontana. Lost it. Morad with a nice job on the defensive end. Najim. Guenzati. Has a goal today. His cross. Cleared for a moment. Little back heel flip. Chambers. Ryan. Puts on the brakes for Zandy. Zandy for Ryan. Attempted a cross, ends up sitting right there. Zandy. Into the box, the header. Not enough on it.
What a good chance. Much better, Bethlehem Steel. This is what we want to see. Lovely ball in there. And it's a chance for Picasso there to get on the end and head it. Doesn't make good contact, does he? But it's a lovely ball in from Zandy. And there's life yet in this Bethlehem Steel side.
Definitely a better start to this half than the first half for Bethlehem.
Oh, it's a totally different team.
A noticeable difference.
Yeah, but it started with the aggression. They came out, they got into some rough stuff with Tampa Bay. They tried to at least win the fight, if not win the game, type of thing. And that just fired them up. It got them going. It unsettled Tampa Bay for a little while, perhaps. And bit by bit, they've clawed their way back into this game, Bethlehem Steel. And that's part of teaching young players the psychology of the game, what to do when you're down. You've got to just try different things, and getting aggressive is one of them.
That was not pretty.
Yeah, I'm going to say passing the ball properly is another.
Femu. For McKenzie. Picasso. Ariel. Asa Ryan. His long shot. Nowhere close.
No, correct. Nowhere close at all. It's a pity because they were moving the ball around nicely. I think this is an injury that's been bothering him for a while. He was limping back on that far side, and he's going to be a big miss, Johnson, if he does go off.
He's been so strong today.
Oh, he's been brilliant. On that right-hand side, absolutely fantastic. And he's hit the post. He's put 4 or 5 balls into the box that on another day he could have got 2 or 3 assists from that. But he was feeling the back of his leg for a while, and yep, that's it. It's going to get subbed.
Sean Barry will sub on for Johnson, who in his 64+ minutes of work did a fantastic job today. Talked about throughout the match.
Well, this match is not over yet. If Tampa Bay Rowdies fans thinks they're 2-0 up and they're cruising, the way that Bethlehem have played the second half, they can still get, if they can get 1 goal, of course they're back in it and everything's going to change. But that 1 goal has looked more of a possibility the last 10 minutes than it has the previous sort of 50 odd.
But if you're Tampa Bay, you have this 2-0 lead. They're already, they've got the reputation of how well they play defensively. There's no reason for them to, try and be overly aggressive and cause a mistake for themselves.
I think what they need to do is just keep probing up front, because chances will come, and if they take a third, especially through that man there, Tejada, who's been excellent today, if you get a third, then it really is game all over. So, but you're right, they can still sit on this 2-0 lead. Tampa Bay, best defense in the USL. You can say to Bethlehem Steel, all right, see if you can break our defense down, because very few teams have been able to.
1 loss this season for Tampa Bay. It was against North Carolina FC 3-1. He tripped on the ball there. Looked like it could be something for Bethlehem. Ariel leaves it for Rayan. Flips it over. And Diakite deflects it out, and a corner coming for Bethlehem.
Again, much better Bethlehem. This is nice. Building up down the right-hand side, across into the box, forcing Diakite to make a good headed clearance. You get more of that for the next 25 minutes or so, and we could have a game on our hands here.
Bethlehem's first opportunity at a corner this afternoon. Tampa Bay unbeaten on the road. Dana plays it to Chambers. Flicked forward. And now just on, here's Barry. His pass deflected. He had Tejada making the run, but Barry chases that down. Look at that motor. Freshest legs on the pitch right now.
Nice play here from Bethlehem Steel in midfield. Nice passing of the ball, nice control. Oh, and with that, they lose possession.
Spoke too soon.
Yeah, the old commentator's curse.
Are you a believer in that? I'm a staunch non-believer in the broadcaster's curse.
Just a saying, isn't it? There are going to be times when, as you say, something is not going to happen. That's just the odds on, isn't it?
I usually just go, whatever I say, if I jinx, quote unquote, jinx something, it's a nice tip of the cap for that either happening or not happening. Almost a second chance, and that's a foul on Tampa Bay. Guinzotti
had a chance. He turns in the box. He's got no one marking him for a moment. Good defending. And is that not a bookable offense when you turn and kick someone? Just wondering. But good defending from Femu. He gets kicked really hard.
Nasty collision there.
Well, he clears it and then he gets kicked. I would have thought if that happens in midfield, that's a yellow card. But anyway, I'm not calling for it. I'm just observing that, you know, if it happens somewhere else, then maybe a different result from it. But either way, they're still probing, aren't they, Tampa Bay? They're still good around the box. They can cause problems for Bethlehem Steel. And we haven't yet seen John McCarthy make an important save as yet.
Hasn't had to. Credit to Tampa Bay. Picasso. Ariel. Ryan making a run. He's onside. Picasso tried to overlap with Ryan, and then McCarthy off his line slides and grabs it.
Good interplay from the two of them there. Ryan really dangerous down that right-hand side, and we didn't see any of this first half, so it's a much improved Bethlehem Steel second half performance, no doubt about that, but still this man has yet to be properly tested.
Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for your favorite team and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, you can get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club.
The next 20 minutes or so really for Tampa Bay, it's just a professional closing down of the game. They've done the job. They've got the 2 goals. They come into the final parts of the match, and generally it's a case of just don't do anything crazy, keep possession. If you can steal another goal, of course you do that. What you don't do, if you're Tampa Bay, is let Bethlehem Steel score now and make a real grandstand of this game.
Guinzotti. Pressured. Gives it up. Richards now. The 71st minute, goals by Tejada and Guinzotti back in the first half, the 13th and 34th minute, 5th and 8th of the years respectively. Player down for Bethlehem Steel.
Landed on his side a little bit awkwardly, perhaps winded. Or maybe took a knock in the collision for the high ball.
Ariel.
I think he'll be all right. I think he's just needs to gather himself for a moment. Took a bit of a knock. Probably as they went for the ball, he got an elbow in his ribs. Let's have a look. And what does his fall? Yeah, he falls quite heavily as well. So just needs a moment to get the air back in his system for these last 20 minutes, in which he'll be hoping the home side can put a bit of pressure on the goal of John McCarthy, which they haven't been able to do so far.
Steel third and final substitution. Down into the match, number 21, Anthony Fontana. Entering the match, number 43, Steve
Kinge comes in for Fontana. That's the final sub that Bethlehem has in its arsenal today, so they can no longer make any. Tampa Bay has only used one. So they have 2 left. 73rd minute.
Steve Kingay, another youngster, 19-year-old from Cameroon. If he wants to make a name for himself, why not come on and score a goal and get Bethlehem Steel back into this match?
Doherty. And a foul on Bethlehem.
Amazing thing about this Tampa Bay side is, while they haven't been huge scorers, what is it, 24 in their 15 games, the best defensive record, they give you absolutely nothing. They're so well organized at the back, the goalkeeper, the back four, and then they can attack you and cause you problems with pace and ability. It's a fabulous, fabulous side that Neil Collins has put together here. And you just wonder how far this team can go. Can they win the Eastern Division? Can they win the playoffs? Everything's possible, I would guess, given how well they're playing.
Certainly set up for success. Cross. Nice job by McKenzie. Zandy battling. Doherty ends up with it. Long ball, Picasso trying to chase after it, but smartly McCarthy, aggressive, just sends it out. Much better second half for Bethlehem Steel, but still just no real quality chances.
Yeah, they just can't find a way through, can they? They just don't have the ability, the pace on the wings, the ability to play the ball through, a little bit of trickery and skill. Players that are missing are turning out to be absolutely crucial for this Bethlehem Steel side.
And again, no Ferris, no Galena today.
Ferris is a big loss, given how well he played in the last match. What's interesting about this Tampa Bay side is they are so much better away from home than at home, and that's a rarity. I mean, what is it? Assuming they win this, it's 5 wins and 2 draws on the road.
No losses. No
losses at all. But at home, it's only 1.78 points, something like nearly 2.5 on the road, but 1.78 at home. Normally teams are better on their home ground. So what is it about St. Pete's? There's just too many beaches around, too many pina coladas.
It's a great place, exactly. Al Lang Stadium. Well, 4-1 and 4, not too shabby.
Yeah, but just not as good as their away form.
Exactly. It works though. 30 points, first place in all of USL Championship.
Well, certainly lessons to be learned by Bethlehem Steel, and that's what this team is all about, bringing youngsters through, teaching them the nature of the game. You have a bad first half, what do you do to change things around? They've had a much better second half, so that's at least one positive for Brendan Burke and his coaching team to take out of this.
Adam just tried to jump on the back of McKenzie. It was a backpack. Picasso flex off Richards and a throw in for Bethlehem.
Picasso's brought some nice energy to this team. There he is, looks sharp, wants to get around, wants to make things happen.
18 years old. Mexico, raised in the United States. Cross looking for Zandy, and it's cleared out. Real was battling in that corner. Now Steinberger springs to Hodden. Who do you see, obviously Tampa Bay, but who else do you see as challenging Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference and really in the league overall?
Well, the league overall, you've got to look at Phoenix Rising and the way they're playing at the moment. They could have a great run on the western side of things. In terms of the East, well, it depends on New York Red Bulls whether they can keep some of the good players that often tend to move to the MLS team, if they can keep them in their side. Nashville have had a great run. 3 wins and 2 draws from their last 5, and one better than them, Indy 11. 4 wins, 1 draw from their last 5. So there's a couple of teams just below them that could cause Tampa Bay all sorts of problems.
Do you think Phoenix is the team that matches up best just because you have that matchup of the prolific goal scoring and just the lockdown defensive work from Tampa Bay? That's a matchup.
Possibly. Yeah, absolutely, possibly. But playoffs don't always work that way. El Paso have been very, very impressive in the Western Conference. New Mexico United started off brilliantly, but for some strange reason they've really been off the pace. 2 losses and a draw in their last 3. So long way to go in this, and it might even be a team that scrapes in a 9th spot in the playoffs that goes on to win it. Anything is possible. But so far, you've got to look at Tampa Bay Rowdies and say to all their coaching staff and players, Neil Collins and everyone, fantastic start to the season. I want to say no pressure, but don't spoil it by letting the standard drop towards the end of the season. You want to keep going. Some teams have been criticized for being very good early on, and when it comes to the playoffs and the business end of it, they've just lost a bit of energy. And certainly Tampa Bay Rowdies fans wouldn't want that to happen to this wonderful team.
Just joining us, Juan Tejada, his 5th of the year in the 13th minute. Sebastian Guenzati, his 8th of the year to lead the team in the 34th minute. Both right on the doorstep, easy as you can get.
Yep, Tejada setting them up with a great shot which Freeze saved, and Guenzati just followed up on the rebound.
Get all this space for Ekra to his left.
Almost queuing up there. How many yellow shirts, or bright, what is it? Bright yellow, luminescent. Neon green. Okay, we'll get it right eventually. But 6 of those shirts in the box just waiting for the ball to be passed in.
Bethlehem on the counter. Zandy. Looking for Picasso, closed down quickly from behind. Zandy able to get it again. Chambers. Picasso again. Ran. His shot deflects wide, corner coming.
Some good defending from Tampa Bay there. Absolutely brilliant at the back. Saw Sean Barry there doing a lot of work down that right side of Tampa Bay. And better from Bethlehem Steel, giving that defense a workout at last. They've had a couple of corners in the last few minutes, and who knows, if they can score one of these, we still might have a fantastic finish to this match.
A couple of guys grabbed a swig of some water as Chambers stands over it. Playing in his 100th game with Bethlehem. Zandy. Chambers. Bethlehem needs 2. That's a tall task considering how well Tampa has played. Now look where everybody is. Everybody's just all congested in this area of the pitch.
It's the professional protection of a 2-0 lead. Bodies behind the ball. Try and stop the crosses coming in. Work the clock down. Doing it the perfect way, Tampa. And it's not even that Bethlehem need 2. They need 1 just to get this going. If they get 1, then they're going to throw everything at Tampa Bay. So they must just think, just get the 1 and then we'll take it from there.
Najim. Nice job by the official, David Barry, to get out of the way. That's some agility. Real trying to split everybody, but Doherty away with it. Now we see Kwadwo Poku coming in for Tejada. Poku, the 27-year-old from Ghana, his 2nd season with Tampa Bay. Poku for Tejada, that's the 2nd sub for the Rowdies today.
Tejada getting a hug from his manager, Neil Collins, and quite rightly so. 1 goal, 1 assist. He's very instrumental in setting his team up for what looks like is going to be a victory.
Trying to remain unbeaten on the road. Looking for another clean sheet. Doherty turned around and got in the way of that. And now Guenzati breaks free down the left wing. Leaves it back for Steinberger. Now Chambers.
Just about keeping possession here for Tampa Bay. Go around, find another shirt, just hold on to it. Don't have to attack. What you got to do is just keep the ball and keep it away from the home side and try and wind the clock down.
Poku.
Doing it so professionally, Tampa Bay. Difficult to get the ball off them. And all the time, Bethlehem are without that goal they so desperately need.
Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth program, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. 85th minute, 2-0 Tampa Bay, 2 goals in the first half.
And by the way, the academies is the future for American football. If they're going to compete at the national level with the best in the world, academies are going to play a massive role in developing world-class talent. It's one thing developing good players or very good players, but what this country needs is a Messi, a Ronaldo, a Mo Salah, that level of player, and I think it's only likely to come through top-class academies.
Picasso, solid off the bench in the second half. Ariel gets it back.
I heard a voice shouting, "Go forward." I think that's sort of sums up how most of the Bethlehem fans are feeling at the moment. It's one thing, all this lovely possession, but you're 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go. Go forward, get the ball in the box, pressure the defense. Here we go.
That was offside.
Okay, well, I needed to add that point. And don't be offside at the same time.
McCarthy's just going to take his time as he walks over to that.
This is his right. Don't want to push it with the referee too much, but there we go. A little light jog that's barely quicker than walking. That does the trick. And
free.
I'm going to say that clock's ticking. 3 minutes left. You're going to say the same thing, were you? You said 3. Yeah.
Time running out for Bethlehem.
It is. You know, if I'm a Bethlehem player with 3 minutes left, I'm just booting it down the pitch. Give it to the keeper now. Get it to the man at the front. And okay, well, you can play all this lovely football as long as you want, but you're not going to score from there. In the end, it's a hasty, not such good clearance as opposed to one he could have hit earlier. That would have put the ball in the other half and given his centre forward something to fight for. I guess I must add, just in case the Bethlehem Steel fans feel we've been a bit harsh on their side, This is a very good Tampa Bay Rowdies team, and I think we've mentioned that a few times. That
It's only the best team in the USL Championship right now.
100% correct. And, you know, maybe there'd be a number of teams who would have struggled to have done better than Bethlehem Steel have done today. So it's not necessarily a knock at them, but yes, they're young and they want to improve. Well, these are the teams you have to be better against if you want to be one of the top sides.
Good learning experience, if nothing else, for this young club. Tampa Bay on its way to moving to 5-0-2 on the road. They can hang on in these last few minutes.
Those are road stats that any team would dream of. 5-0-2. I mean, I think I would dream of that as my home record, never mind my away record.
Just one loss this season in 16 matches for Tampa Bay. About to improve to 9-1-6.
That match against North Carolina, and eventually someone's going to catch you on an off day, and it was North Carolina who caught Tampa Bay Rowdies. And they were well up against Charleston Battery. Was it the last match? One up, and then
88th minute
moments. So
could this be it? Taken down in the area, and it will be a penalty. Zach Zandy got taken down. And right at the end here, similar timing to last game against Charleston. We just talked about it. An opportunity for Bethlehem Steel.
Well, let's have a look. It's Diakite who's arguing, so I assume he's the one who got the hand on the shoulder. Let's have a look. There he is. No, it wasn't Diakite.
It was Morad.
It was Morad who did. Diakite is doing the arguing on Morad's behalf. Did he go down a little bit easily there? Zach Zandy, well, he's not going to bother. He got the penalty. Now let's see if they can hit the back of the net and give us a grandstand last bit of injury time.
Here we go. This is for the clean sheet, pretty much. And Chambers in his 100th appearance for Bethlehem Steel on a penalty makes it 2-1 with 3 minutes of stoppage time. Late life for Bethlehem Steel, and for Chambers, his 3rd of the season. A nice moment for the captain.
It's a good finish, isn't he? Tucks it just in the corner there. He goes one way and the other, which makes it difficult for John Mccarthy to read. Now we have, well, it would have been nice if it was the last 13 or 23 minutes, but we've got a grandstand last 3 minutes.
A tough one to swallow. Back-to-back games. 88-plus minutes of a shutout. And McCarthy loses the clean sheet late through no doing of his own.
Now, you can't blame the keeper at all. Morad there getting caught the wrong side of Zach Zandy, and once you're the wrong side, then, you know, you're going to end up either pulling them back or tackling from behind or just leaving him to have a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So Steinberger coming off. Get some fresh legs on for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Leon Taylor entering.
Now the crowd all fired up. They're saying, come on, guys, we can do this. We can get a point from this, having had a shocking first half and having had a reasonably better second half. We can still grab a point against the league leaders, wouldn't it just? There isn't much time left. I just go back to 5 minutes ago when we were watching them play at the back. Bethlehem Steel and saying, get the ball up, get the ball up. You need to get this goal back sooner than later. Have they left it too late?
Wow. Oh no, Zandy! A 2-on-1 ran. He goes down. No penalty. Still alive. Harriel in front, deflected, and a corner for Bethlehem. My goodness, Gary Bay.
It has come to life. Where was all this Bethlehem Steel beforehand? You've been keeping it hidden for 90 minutes. Much better, getting in the box, getting shots. Just wonder if there was there was no penalty there. Gets up again. I wonder if there was a couple of opportunities to get shots earlier than that, but the clock is ticking, guys. Bethlehem Steel got to get the ball in.
McKenzie. Across. Not much anybody can do with that. Kept alive by Picasso. Kingay. All the way through. Ryan chases it down. Does Bethlehem have one last push? Here's the cross. Over everyone's head. Poku knocks it out. It's a throw in for Bethlehem. Chambers on the PK. Now here it goes into the area. Punched out by McCarthy.
It's good goalkeeping there. These defense needed McCarthy for that one. There was a load of Bethlehem Steel players in that box waiting for that ball. The keeper comes to their rescue, and they should be able to see the match out now to its conclusion by just keeping possession.
That one last push from Bethlehem really felt like something was there.
Why wasn't it there earlier? That's what their fans are going to be saying.
Chambers. Now Kingay. All the way to the far side. Chambers steps into it. It got deflected. Now Picasso. That was deflected. Tampa Bay desperate for the final whistle. Dispossessed there. Taylor. Back for Poku. Quadwo Poku with some speed, using that size. Taylor. Still waiting on the final whistle.
They've given Tampa Bay a little bit of a scare, Bethlehem Steel, so well done to the youngsters for eventually fighting back. That's the spirit. They'll have learned from that. If they could have just switched that on 20 minutes earlier, could have been a different result. But I think huge credit to Bethlehem Steel for fighting back, but the honors go to the team and overall comfortably deserve this win, Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Tampa Bay stays undefeated on the road, improves to 9-1-6 overall, 33 points, first in the Eastern Conference, first in USL Championship. Bethlehem Steel falls to 4-8-4, still clinging to that 10th and final spot in the Eastern Conference, but a whole slate of games tonight, Gary Bailey. They might not find themselves in that top 10 after tonight.
They might not, but they'll have a chance to work their way back into that top 10, and they've just got to take away some positives today. Bethlehem Steel, the second half, much better, and towards the end, fantastic. They came out of the locker room second half. They were a lot more physical. They got in Tampa Bay Rowdies' faces, and they made a real game of it. First 45 minutes, well, the less said, the better, and I think that's where Brendan Burke and his coaching team will have to get more from the players. But let's credit Tampa Bay Rowdies. Unbelievable road form. We say five wins, 2 draws. Wow, that's stunning.
No defeats either.
Absolutely brilliant, and no question they deserve it. The first half, the visitors were brilliant, but bad defending though. We've got to say 1, 2, 3 black shirts, and it's Tejada who traps the ball, kills his stone dead, sticks it back in the net, but that's bad defending more than anything else.
Chambers right there, and Tejada, his 5th of the year. Gets it past Freeze, not much he could do. Steinberger, along with Malik Johnson right here, who takes this shot and sends it wide. Both Steinberger and Johnson had very strong performances.
Johnson was superb throughout this match. Absolutely fantastic. That's not to sing the best of him. He had a couple of runs and balls in the box that were brilliant. And this will be the goal, and it's Steinberger who turns, and it's going to be a lovely little 1-2 here. It's Tejada with the shot. That's a great save, by the way, from Freeze, and it's Genzati who sticks it in the back of the net. He starts us off. Have a look. He's going to get the ball here. He lays it off. He has the understanding to know that he has to follow up a potential shot, and he's there to pick up the pieces.
That's his 8th of the year to lead the team, and at that point, the way that Tampa Bay was playing, you just felt like that was it. An opportunity.
Yeah, here's more from the man you mentioned there out wide, Johnson. And he hits the post on that one. He deserved that because he created a whole bunch of chances, then took one himself, and the post came to the home side's rescue.
And this is what led to the Bethlehem goal. Zandy taken down in the penalty area and then playing in his 100th game as a member of Bethlehem Steel FC. It's James Chambers netting the goal on the penalty.
Yeah, got him in the back into the match rather, sorry, excited here at 2-1, but it wasn't enough time though to really cause Tampa Bay Rowdies any more problems, and the visitors walk away with the 3 points. And look, better stats, much better stats of Bethlehem Steel. I couldn't believe that 0-0-0 on the column on the left. I mean,
the second half was just so much better for Bethlehem.
Absolutely, but the Rowdies did enough first half, and to be fair, they were coasting most of the second half. Really, the keeper hasn't had anything to do other than that one penalty and pick the ball out the back of the net from the penalty. So, for John McCarthy, unlucky to lose that fantastic clean sheet record there was going to go to 10. It stays at 9. But I think the Rowdies will feel that they were never really in danger of losing this game.
2-1 your final. Goals by Tejada and Guenzati. The Rowdies remain unbeaten on the road. Still in first place in the Eastern Conference. For Gary Bailey and our entire crew, this is Josh Appel saying so long and have a great rest of your night.
The United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.